silent scream. Heart beat loud in the in-between. World asleep but my mind won't rest. Standing right on tomorrow's edge. Numbers fall and the candles shake. Every risk is a step I take. No applause and no safety net. Just a promise I haven't met. I've been down where the doubt is loud. I've been lost in the digital crowd. But the signal cuts through the noise and it pulls me now. I'm standing on tomorrow's edge. I jump anyway. No guarantees, but I'm on my way. If I fall, I rise. That's the game I play. Tomorrow's edge. I jump anyway. Late night glow from a silent screen. Heartbeat loud in the in-between. World asleep but my mind won't rest. Standing right on tomorrow's edge. Numbers fall and the candles shake. Every risk is a step I take. No applause and no safety net. Just a promise I have. I've been down with it loud. I've been lost in a digital crowd. But the signal cuts through the noise and it pulls me now. I'm standing on tomorrow's edge. I jump anyway. No guarantee, but I'm on my way. If I fall, I rise. That's the game I play. Tomorrow's edge. I jump anyway.
All right, legends. Let's dive into the technical analysis. Welcome to another live stream. For some reason I thought it was Wednesday today, but you guys know the deal. You know, I'm always a day ahead or a day behind. But it looks like it's Tuesday today. Okay, maybe it's Tuesday today, but who cares? Well, I don't care what day it is. It's another trading day. It's another opportunity. Welcome to the live stream. Hope you've got your tea, your coffee. It's morning here in South Africa, so you know it can't be a whiskey or a beer. So we'll indulge ourselves in a little bit of coffee, early morning coffee. Remember to smash up that like button on your way in. Let me just drag the mic a little bit closer so you guys can hear me properly. Okay, there we go. Let me see, sounds coming through nicely. Yes, you should be able to hear me. Sorry guys, I just want to check a mic setting here, just to make sure that my mic is crispy clear and nice and loud so you can hear me properly, because for some reason my mic settings default back to some other. Okay, there we go. It's a little bit louder now. It should be better now. Let's go. Right, legends. Always technical stuff here on YouTube. Okay, I see people are starting to stream. Pour in while we wait for everyone to join. Let me say quick hello to the community. Morning Devil and all you lovely people. Rus de groot. That sounds very Afrikaans. Welcome to the live stream. 58k incoming. Yes, definitely a possibility. Okay. Guys, I just have to stress, and I'll go through some more comments now. The most interesting trading zones here at the moment. Yes, we're trading the range. We're getting into little scalps. I've made some nice money inside of this range. But the most interesting short is over here. And the most interesting long is over here. Those are the swing trades I want to get into. Okay? Because it is easier for me as a technical trader. And remember, guys, the disclaimer that I showed just before I went live. I am not, excuse me, I am not a financial advisor. What I'm sharing with you is how I approach the markets and how I trade the markets. Okay? I encourage you to do your own research. And right, let's carry on. It is easier for me to trade a breakdown and look for signs of strength for a momentum back up. And believe it or not, guys, this is the easy trade for me. And this is the easy trade for me. Inside of here, okay, it's difficult to trade. Although I can make money, but the easy trades for me, believe it or not, is up here. Because I know what to do there, and it's down here. Okay, so let me continue with the comments. Just say hi to the community. Good morning. Welcome to the live stream, Mr. 1973. Okay, are you giving away your age? Mr. Jeroen, always appreciate your positive comments and not panic, not hopium, just reality, devil style. Welcome to the live stream. Always appreciate you being here. Morning, Devil in the house. Intro song name. That is a song that my brother produced. And the name is Tomorrow's Edge. You will not find it anywhere except here on this live stream. Okay, it's music specifically produced for my live streams so that I don't get copyright strikes. If I use music that's available to the public, YouTube can remove the videos from my YouTube or from the YouTube channel. So I have to use songs that is not copyrighted and that my brother produces for me. Okay, he's a music producer. Devil calling the danger zone. Mr. A Trader, welcome. Great to see you here. Always see you popping here into the comments. Appreciate you being here. Okay, guys, it's my first time here. Welcome to the live stream. This is where I discuss pure technical analysis. I'm not bullish because I feel like it. I'm not bearish because I want to be. It's trading scenarios and how I approach the markets based on technical analysis levels, trading strategies. You know, guys, I use the D-line strategy. I use swing failure patterns. I use harmonic patterns. What else? Volume. Okay, there's a couple of trading styles, trading strategies that I use, but I do like to use Elliott Wave theory from a predictive perspective. Elliott Wave theory is the only predictive tool that we have. That's it. It's the only one. It's the most difficult. And that is why a lot of people will sometimes write comments, because I see it in Andy's stream as well. People will say, what is this Elliott Wave BS? Why don't you rather use this and this and this? Guys, we all have our own flavors. And I think the reason why some people, okay, diss Elliott Wave theory is because it's so difficult to understand. But once you grasp the concepts, you can't help but look at a structure like this and just count the waves. Okay. Right, legends. So we are going to do some technical analysis. We're going to analyze the structure, and as per the thumbnail, there's a little bit of liquidity below. Yes, I'm very aware of a specific level that I'm very, very interested in a long. I already took a little bit of a stab over here. High chance of being stopped out, but you guys know me by now. Okay, when I enter a trade, okay, it's already protected. And I already took profits to cover my fees. So if I get stopped out, it's a break-even trade. And the reason I got here is because, well, guys, and I highlighted this morning as well. I said, guys, we are approaching critical support and we also have a daily level. So I just had to jump into this little long over here. Okay. You have the daily level, where we got a swing failure from, and you have the point of control of the entire range that formed during April. So if I go here onto the daily time frame, and this is why I said critical zone for the price of Bitcoin. Inside of this consolidation area, can you guys see? Yes. Inside of this consolidation area on the Binance perpetual chart, okay, where currently still the most amount of volume is traded in the world, you have a point of control, a high volume node, that little red line over there, okay, and you can see we did have an SFP from that line. That is where I got into a long, and I took profits here at the highs. Guys, you remember that trade that I took? Beautiful trade, nice little profits that I made over there. I just treated it as a swing failure. And now, usually when you have a swing failure, even on the 1 minute time frame, pretend that this is the 1 minute time frame. Okay? When you have an SFP, you leave a wick behind, okay? Price usually comes back and it back tests that level. So this is definitely an important area that I'm paying attention to. So I'm looking for a long in this zone, but I do realize the bearish case scenario, which I'm going to talk about. That's why I'm saying, guys, when I attempt a long, I'm very sniper with my risk management. I get in, I see the reaction, price moves up, I protect position, I take profits. If I get stopped out and I was wrong, well, happy days, I don't lose anything. So I can have an attempt without losing cash. Okay. And that is my style of trading, and I know my style of trading by some is seen as very aggressive, but guys, that's what keeps me profitable. That's my trading strategy. That's how I learned how to trade the market, because I very quickly realized that, just want to put the music a little bit softer. I very quickly realized that the only thing that I can do as a technical trader is protect my cash. I cannot force the market to move in my favor, but I can get in at areas of confluence, execute my trading strategy, and protect my cash, because the market is designed to take it. And if you're not going to protect it, it's going to take it. Okay, and if you're not going to scratch your dollars from the market, it's going to take it. So it's about protecting your cash. Okay, and then you let the trade play out. Okay, guys, so based on the technical analysis, prices chopping in this area, but you can see where it's getting a reaction at the moment. On the smaller time frame, it's getting a little bit of a reaction here at the moment, and now you know why. We are tapping back into support. Okay, so I would not expect this to happen all of a sudden right now. I do expect a little bit more of maybe choppiness. It looks like it wants, that choppiness, and then maybe, it still creates that higher low, and then we could potentially continue here to the upside. But it is an interesting zone where I'm looking for longs, depending on what I see on the lower time frames. Okay, let's jump back here into the 1 hour time frame. We need to talk about this structure. Okay, so we've just SFP'd here from a daily level. But if price had to come back down, and I'm just trying to keep it as simple as I possibly can, okay? If you take a fib, what I would personally like to see, if you take a fib from the low to the high, okay, do you guys see this nice little 786? Just below. If I get stopped out and price chops around, stops me out, and it does that, I will attempt another long. That's how I approach the markets, because I know that this is a zone where price could bounce. Whether it gives a little bit of a relief rally and continues to the downside, I don't care. I can take advantage of that move, because remember, guys, I'm a day trader. I just want to get in and out, scratch my dollars, and look for the next trading opportunity. Okay. Yesterday was an interesting day. So yesterday I took 2 trades, which I shared with our community, and I got stopped out once, and then on the second attempt I got stopped out with profits, a little bit of profit, nothing serious to write home about. Okay, first attempt was this little structure here to the upside. I was just, okay, I'm going to give this structure the benefit of the doubt. That's what was going through my mind. You have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. After an impulsive structure, there's always a high chance that you can make a higher low and continue to the upside. So I was looking at the choppiness, just as a summary, I was looking at the choppiness here above, and I told myself, well, price is not showing me that I can get in yet. And then I took a fib from the low. Just to explain to everyone, I don't win all of them. I do get stopped out. It's part of the game. It's about how little you can lose. Okay. And then price fell down here to the, I think the 786 zone, in this zone over here. And I told everyone, okay, I'm going to give it a little bit of a stab. I'm going to go in light. And that's the words that I used inside of the community. I opened up a small position, and this was my trading setup. Okay, I think I still have it saved here. That was my trading setup, because I thought, okay, this could form an A, a B, and a C. A three-wave structure. So, obviously I will be taking profits on the way up. That's just what I do as a technical trader. But there's a chance that it can move up. So I got in and I got stopped out. Okay. And then I got back in with this little SFP. That was the second trade. Yeah, I got back in. Price grabs the liquidity, I entered, stop goes below the low, price moved up, I protected position, I took profits, okay, yeah, at the highs, I took profits, and I told everyone in the community I took profits. If you want to be part of the community where I share what I do from a technical perspective, DM me the word access, the link is down in the description if you don't know by now, okay. Especially for I see there's a couple of new people here in the stream. If you want to be part of the community, DM me the word access to this link in Telegram, follow some instructions, and you can get inside of the community. It's as simple as that. So I'm basically now repeating what I've already said in the community. So that's where they get the alpha first. If you guys want to be part of the community, just DM me the word access on Telegram. So yeah, I took profits. Position was protected. I told everyone it's getting late. I'm going to go to bed. I can't stay awake the whole night. And what was this? This was around, okay, well, I wasn't in front of the chart, but around 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock at night, I got stopped out of that trade at break even with a little bit of profit. Okay, so that's just my style of trading, guys. I can have many attempts, okay, and lose a little bit. But when I'm right, I make a lot of money. And that covers all of my losses and so much more. Okay. Plus, I'm still in a short. So I've got a hedge. You guys know that I've got the hedge short against my long. So even if I'm wrong, I'm still making, and price. So let's say I now get stopped out of this long and price falls here to the downside. I get stopped out at break even. I've already covered my fees. Can you guys see that? I've already covered my fees and I'm still making profits from the short. It's just my style of trading, and that's how I like to trade. Especially if I have a hedge against something, it's easier to look for a position in the opposite direction because the other trade covers the losses as well. Okay, so now we need to discuss where price is now. Okay, so just a little bit of education. I just wanted to share basically what happened inside of the community yesterday. But most importantly, I wanted to share with everyone, I don't win every trade. When I lose a trade, it's about how little I can lose. And when I win a trade, how can I maximize my profits? Okay. Right, guys, there's no technical trader. It doesn't matter how good they say they are, that never loses. The game is designed in such a way that you will get stopped out. It's about how you manage that stoppage. If you went in with 50% of your account at 50x leverage, you're going to cry. Okay, you're going to have a big hole in your account. But if you went into a trade with 1% of your capital, protected position, maybe you got stopped out and you only paid fees. So guys, I know that I always hammer about risk management inside of this live stream, but that is what keeps you profitable as a trader. That's it. Unfortunately, that's the reality. That's what keeps you profitable as a trader. Okay, so now back here onto the 1 hour time frame. Okay, guys, it doesn't get easier than this for me at the moment. Okay, this for me was a longing opportunity, but I do see some insane bearish CVD building up, which tells me it wants to claim that low again. Can you guys see this? This is absolutely insane bearish CVD. The Bybit bros, I don't know what you guys are smoking this morning, but I mean, here we go. I don't have my drawing tool here. For some reason, guys, my drawing tool disappeared because I think I'm locked out of my account. But nonetheless, okay, if I show you over here, look at this high over here, and you formed a slight lower high, and look at the bearish CVD. So you have the reverse playing out. CVD is making a higher high, price action is making lower lows. This shows me that people on Bybit are longing like crazy. Okay, and this is dumb money, for lack of a better word. This is retail cash. So what this shows me is that smart money, okay, is absorbing the longs because they still want to send it down. The target for, and this might look insane, the target for this insane bearish CVD is taking that low. Then it played out. Then it's done. Okay, so maybe there's too many people longing this zone here at the moment, including myself. Well, I'm not trading on Bybit, I'm trading on Bluffin, but it gives you a good idea. There's a lot of people longing this zone here at the moment. So what would make sense for me, technically, is that if we're still going to find support in the zone, maybe price still moves up, but then it falls down, and then that is the next area that I'm going to be paying attention to. So it basically stops out all the longs, okay, resets the market, and then it continues. Right. Always, you know, guys, for me, it will be observing the price action when price hits this level. For me, it's about observing the price action. If I don't see what I like to see, I will not attempt a long. If I cannot get in with good risk management, I'm not going to put a limit order there. I do not trade with limit orders. 99% of my trades are executed with market execution. Because I'm a reactionary trader, it means that I need to see the reaction of the price at a specific level, specifically when it comes to swing failure patterns. Okay, because price can waterfall here, and you have a limit order, you come back to your PC or your alarm goes off or whatever, and now price is down here and you're underwater and you're like, oh God, and it continues and it continues and it continues. It's just a very, for me, that's a dangerous way of trading, unless you have a plan. Okay, if you have a plan, your plan could say, well, I have a limit order and maybe your invalidation is at the 0.8. So if I get stopped out, I'm happy with a loss. Okay, I can't be in front of the chart, so I have to put a limit order in there. So I'm going to execute according to my plan. I have an invalidation, I have an entry, and you work out your profit taking areas. So you can trade with limit orders if you plan your trade properly with an invalidation and profit taking areas. Okay, so guys, that is for now. You can see that we are getting a reaction at the zone, but I think it's still going to get a little bit choppy. We have insane bearish CVD building up at the moment, so it would make sense to maybe claim this low at least again, okay? And it could be a couple of times. Maybe it's going to do that. Ah, we're going now, and it does that. Oh, damn it, and it does that, and then it, you know, so it can get messy and choppy in the zone if it's going to hold. But this is usually a sign of strength for me. The more time it spends in this zone and it starts going sideways, choppy, double bottoms, triple bottoms, the more time for me it spends in the zone, the more interested I get in a long. Okay, because you know, if price waterfalls, well, it's not going to spend time there. Look at this. I mean, it didn't spend any time here, okay, at this level, for example. It just... There's no time spent there. But then at the 618 we got the bounce. It spent a little bit of, you got a reaction. Okay, now that's a nice reaction. You formed a 5-wave move here to the upside. Also a very interesting shorting opportunity after the 5-wave move to the upside. I think I actually did take a short here on BTCC yesterday. Right, you just TP us, and I just TP'd myself out of the position. Okay, so now these are basically, I think I've basically just jumped straight into what I'm looking at, guys. It's an interesting support zone, but we can lose it. Okay. And this is why I need to now go through a couple of scenarios. So let's take the daily levels out the way. And let's look at the structure. I am in the 1 hour time frame. I can just clean up the chart ever so slightly here. Take this level out the way. Okay, let's work with a blank piece of paper over here. The one scenario I'm keeping an eye on is we could form an ABC. Okay, and for those of you that don't know what an ABC is, and I'm not trying to teach you the alphabet, okay, it's basically Elliott Wave theory and probabilities in terms of how the structure can unfold. In an ABC, okay, and by the way, you guys can see that C is over here, okay, because that's the most common flat structure that could play out, okay. In Elliott Wave theory, a flat structure, this is the most common flat structure. You have a 5-wave move, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in A, okay. It can also be a 3-wave move, A, B, C, doesn't really matter, but you have an A wave at the tippy top. And then you have a 3-wave structure in a wave B. Wave B has to be a 3-wave structure. And for the moment, it is a 3-wave structure. After a B flat, and now this is where things gets a little bit, how can I say it, not so nice. Okay, because the B flat has many targets. It has a broad range. It could literally bounce at, that's the minimum flat target at the 0.9 Fibonacci. $61,000, 67 here on the Binance chart. That is the minimum flat target. So for this B, okay, it would be great to hit the 0.9 at least. Once this target is claimed, you could still go up in a C that takes the high again. But it's still part of a corrective structure. After an ABC, A, B, C, this is why I said, guys, very, very interesting shorting opportunity, because after an ABC, it is a corrective structure. There's a high chance you're going to take the low again. And this is why this is such an interesting shorting opportunity for me. And this is such an interesting longing opportunity because I know that this scenario could play out. Okay. Usually what I do when I trade these scenarios, guys, and I know I always throw some education in here, how I approach the markets, okay, I usually like to use these lines as swing failure lines as well. It doesn't hold, I look at the 1 extension. It doesn't hold, I look at the 1.236. It doesn't hold, I look at the, so I could have 1, 2, 3, 4 attempts, and you guys now know by now how I manage those swing failure patterns. I would most likely get stopped out 4 times if price comes to this level, okay, and it does this. Let's say it does this. You get a reaction and it falls. You get a reaction and it falls. And you get a reaction and... So if it does that, I will most likely have 4 attempts. And the question is, you know, will you get stopped out with a loss or will you have a whole hole in your account? And I can tell you now, hopefully, I mean, I can't predict the future. I will be stopped out 3 times at break even. And then you catch the move. And I can tell you now, that move pays back all of that plus 100% more. Okay. It was like this long that I caught over here. This long here at, it was around about $62,000, $63,000 where I caught this long. That move was significant enough for me. Okay, it put a big, nice profits in the bag for me. Guys, and I'm not here because I'm bragging about how much money I'm making. I'm here to educate you how I trade so that you can do the same. Okay, after I hit my TP area over here, I placed a short. And I took profits here at the lows. Price came back, can't remember exactly. I think I added, because yeah, I think down here I added to my short, and I think my short was a little bit lower. Then price came up and I got stopped out of my short with profits. It was here in the live stream. I shared those trades with everyone to show you how I approach the markets. Okay. Price fell down, came back up. Guess what? That's where I entered another short. And I'm still in that short. I actually added to the position. So for this short, I slightly added to the position and I dragged my entry down there. Because I know that if the bears are going to start taking control, that's the high they should not claim. It's the most important high in this structure. So as long as price continues to fall here to the downside, I will continue to make money from the short. Okay, and I did take a little bit more profits this morning from the short because I know that this is also a great bouncing zone, you know, and that's just what I do as a technical trader. When I'm in a short, price falls down, you hit support. You know, for me, that's a profit taking area. No financial advice. Okay. Right, so this is one scenario that could still play out. Guys, I know that this structure is messy and you can count it in so many different ways, you know. And you'll see once I've gone through all the scenarios, there's a little bit of a theme coming through here. Okay, there's a little bit of a theme. In this scenario, you expect price, okay, to find support and get a bounce to go and complete wave C. Okay, where you formed an A, 3-wave structure B, and a 5-wave structure in a C. Okay. If price does not take the low, and that's why I think, guys, if the scenario had to play out, and this is now my personal bias, okay, but I'm putting a market maker's hat on here as well. In order for the market makers, I think, to create maximum confusion, they should not take the low. Because once price takes the low, gives the structure away, then you know, okay, that's a B flat because it took the low. So if price does move up, there's a high chance it's going to come down again. But if price does not take the low, that creates confusion because now that opens up the door to say that, well, now what if this is a 1 then? What if this was a 2? Okay, price did not. Let me just take the scribble here out the way. I like to always try and imagine what a market maker would think about this structure. And they like to create confusion because they don't want people to make money. Okay? They want to trap you. They want to steal your liquidity. They want to stop you out. They want you to lose money. So I'm trying to put that hat on. If I was a market maker and I had trillions of dollars to move the price of Bitcoin, how would I play this move? Okay? For me, okay, and this is my personal bias, I would create a higher low. Because if you have a higher low, it still keeps the door open to many other scenarios, of which this could be a 1, that's a 2. Elliott Wave theory states, you know, that can still be a 2. So it's going to make a 3 and a 4 and a 5. I'm going to long like a crazy person once I see the retracement. Once I see the retracement, I'm going to long like a crazy person. So do you see that by not taking that low, you actually create more confusion and you open up the door to more scenarios, which means that you can trap people upstairs. If you do a flat, for me, it's an easy structure to trade. Maybe not for everyone. So maybe I'm speaking just on behalf of myself. Okay. Once you create a flat, okay, it's easier for me to take a short. If it creates a higher low, this becomes more difficult to short because there's still the probability of forming a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 correction continuation. So it does open up the door to more possibilities if you do not take the low. Guys, I'm not saying that that's going to play out. I'm just sharing with you what's going on in my mind when I look at a structure. Okay. So I can just imagine if price does not even come and tap the flat target, and those are the scenarios we need to talk about now. If price does not tap, okay, and I've got a couple of scenarios here, and I think now this is going to be a confusing one. Okay, just, you know, hold my coffee. Let me show you a trick. Okay, there's the chance that maybe we find support at that 786 and we don't go and tap the flat target. Okay, that 786 that I highlighted during the beginning, there's a chance, let's say we find support here. Maybe it dips below, slows down, choppy, and it starts moving up. Once price taps this level, well, now the bulls are going to scream, okay, maybe this is not a W. Okay, maybe that's a 1. This is a corrective structure in a 2. And now we're going to go up for an explosive third wave to the upside. Long like crazy. I'm not taking TP until we take the high. Okay, so, and this is now the danger about a WXY, because if this is a W and X finds its feet in this zone, Y does not have to claim the high. I think this scenario is actually going to mess with a lot of people. Okay, but there's still a lot of price action that needs to happen. And this is why, guys, when I jump into a trade, I always take profits when I hit resistance or support, depending on whether I'm on a long and a short, because you don't know which scenario is going to play out. If you banking on an ABC or a 1, 2, 3, and you banking on taking profits only when price gets to the high, and this happens, well, that's a lost opportunity. You didn't pay yourself. Or it forms a triangle. Okay? Because in this scenario, because X already claimed the 0.7, okay, it increases the probabilities that Y does not have to take the high, if you're counting the structure as a WXY. So price can chop around here, find support, and there's usually, okay, the most common one that usually plays out is a flat. It's that Y over there. It moves up, people get bullish, oh my god, bull market's back, you know, we're going up, we're getting a relief rally, whatever you want to call it, and it falls down, and it creates a B flat. So it takes this low again. It moves up, it takes the low again, and it creates basically a mini, you remember the ABC? Well, here you go, ABC flat. Okay, Y does not take the high of W and price falls down. And that is the end of your corrective structure. W, X, Y. Inside of Y, you have to have a three-wave structure. The most common three-wave structure or a flat structure that usually plays out is an ABC flat, and it rejects. Okay, what could also happen, guys, and a Y wave, unfortunately, is a very complex wave that can form. It could also do this. It just forms a normal zigzag. Okay, A, B, C, done, falls down. But the end result is exactly the same. Or, in a more rare instance, it does happen, and I have seen this on Bitcoin as well, it forms a triangle. But there's going to be a lot of time for a triangle inside of a Y. So basically what happens is you move your Y to E. Okay, like you've just seen the triangle that everyone's been talking about, including myself and Andy, where you have your triangle over here. Okay, you form an A, B, C, D, E. Okay, and you fall down. Well, that can repeat over here. Okay, price finds its feet, and it does an A, B, C, D, E, and bang, correction done. W, X, Y, and we fall down. Still, very interesting longing opportunity. Okay, so the range, guys, I'm not going to lie, the range is difficult to trade, and most people struggle with range trading. It just is what it is. According to the stats and the data, people struggle to make profits when price is ranging because not everyone knows how to trade a range. Okay, but this is for me an easier long. And if price does move up, but this is not potentially going to be an easy short, but we're going to have to see how price action develops here. So there's still a lot of time where we can identify the structure and see, okay, well, maybe we thought we're going to get an ABC, okay? Maybe we thought we're going to get a 1, 2, 3 here to the upside, but price is not leaving the range. It's still going sideways. So that will give you the information that you need to say that actually I thought price was going to go up, but based on the new price action, I think there's a good chance price is going to form a lower high and fall down. So you don't have to make a trading, for me, okay, I don't have to make a trading decision now to catch this short. don't have to make that trading decision now. This range, whatever's going to happen here, will give me the information what I need to make that trading decision. Because I could also, instead of waiting for this short, I could change my mind and say, guys, okay, maybe price does this. Okay, it chops around here, chops around, and when price gets here, I can change my mind and say, guys, I'm not looking for this short anymore. I'm actually now looking for a short over here. But there's still a lot that needs to happen for me to make that decision. And hopefully I'll be live here on YouTube and then we can talk about the scenario. So I'm just trying to paint out a picture of what could happen in the next week or so. Okay, because this can still take easily a week to form over here. Okay. Triangle, I must say, guys, is a rare structure. Most common that I've seen is either a normal zigzag, okay? A normal zigzag and you fall down. Or a flat and you fall down, but the end result is the same over here. So I'll definitely be looking for a short. To put it simple, okay, but we need X to be finished. So we don't know what's going to happen here now at the moment. Okay, once price starts moving up, then we have a clear pivot and I know where to draw that fib. Okay, so let me paint this out for you. From the low of W to, trend base extension, the second one, from the low of W to the high of W to wherever that you see. And I now need this low to be in during today or tomorrow in order to know where to place this fib. But now I can just speculate. So I'm just going to put it in the zone here somewhere. Okay. The minimum target for this little Y, okay, usually is the 0.618 if it does not form a triangle. If it does not form a triangle, that is your first Y wave target. And you can see that this target is below W. So I will be paying attention to that level once this low is in. Can you guys see how patient you need to be for that ultimate trade? If you want to catch that big trade that gives you a nice movement that you can almost, it becomes a swing trade where you stay in the trade for a week or 2 or 3 even. You have to be very patient. I have all my scenarios, and based on how price develops over the next day, 2, 3, 4, 5 days, I know which scenario I am looking at and I will be ready for that trade when price gets there. Can you guys see how patient you need to be? You need to be extremely patient. Okay, yes, I traded this range from a day trading perspective, but for the bigger trades, okay, I don't want to throw numbers out here, but for the more juicy trades, okay, that once a month trade that really just, grows my portfolio exponentially, you have to be patient. Okay. Remember to smash up that like button if you do enjoy the content. Thank you, Devil. Absolute pleasure. I think that scenario is most lightly shine the light on this scenario. I'm not sure. The low is not taken yet. 2 or 3 more months sideways up first. Definitely a scenario. I mean, if this, let's say the triangle plays out, because the triangle is going to take the most amount of time. If price continues to chop and to chop and to chop, and let's say, I've got it more or less accurate here, you're looking at about 4th of March, which is actually around the corner for the structure to play out. Okay, so it's still going to, like Andy, I can't help but say that because it's such a cool thing to say. If price keeps on dancing around in this zone, okay, and it keeps on going sideways, you increase the probabilities that you're not going to take the high, and you form a triangle, and we'll work it out because each structure needs to be a 3-wave. One of the ways can be a complex structure, and you could fall down. I do think from a market psychology perspective, this is a nice scenario, because if you have because I know myself, including a lot of other traders, we're looking for a short in that zone. We're looking for that short, and it's an easier way to look for a short once you've taken the highs. Okay, once you take the highs, you basically wait for, couple of ways to trade it, guys. You wait for price to get acceptance back up below. That's a sign of weakness. You know where to enter or to put your stop loss, and you enjoy the momentum to the downside to take the low, however you want to trade it. In an ABC, for example, if I put this ABC back on, okay, let's say this scenario plays out. Okay, you can see where C is. I can also take a fib from the low to the high. And now the question is, I need a pivot. Okay, I need this low to form over here. So let's just put it on the 0.9. Let's say price is going to bounce there. The 1-to-1 extension is a very common C wave target. Very, very common. It reaches that level a lot. Okay, usually goes a little bit higher, but you know, this is where I start looking for shorts. A, B, C. Okay. Also, what's interesting in this scenario, and maybe I didn't get to the smaller time frames in this scenario, is that, guys, but there's so many ways in which you can count the internal structures. You want an A, a B, and this could be your C wave to the downside. This is your 1, 2, maybe this is your 3, 4, 5 contracting diagonal. Okay, or it starts motoring here to the downside and it's an impulse 3, 4, 5. But I'm looking for a bounce in this zone. So if it gets nasty, price takes the low, I have levels that I'm watching. I just want to make sure, or I just want to switch some levels on. This is why it's so important to have your levels marked out. You have 2 daily levels there. The most interesting one, I pointed this out yesterday as well, at the 1.236 or 1.382, you have that weekly level almost in perfect confluence with this level, which is basically your maximum flat target. Minimum, maximum. And here at the minimum, okay, you have that weekly level as well. So definitely looking for this long, because in an A, B, C, I mean, that is an epic trade, guys. That is an epic trade for me. Okay, remember to smash up that like button. And guys, also, I always talk about the community, especially for the new people here. I've told the community this. I said this in the community. I believe Andy is sharing some updates and scenarios at the moment. Okay, and if you want to be part of that community, link down in the description. DM me the word access on Telegram. Here's the link for my Telegram. Okay, and follow the instructions and we'll sort you out. Okay, if you want to be part of that community where you get the alpha first. Right, guys, and by the way, guys, you can see that I've got my bigger trades open here on Bluffin. I also trade on BTCC, basically with all of these exchanges. Okay, Bluffin, you get 20% cash back and you get upgraded to VIP status 1 for 30 days. Okay, if you use this link to sign up and trade. Valto, the lowest trading fees that I've seen anywhere. Okay, and then BTCC, you get that 30% cash back. Right, and those are the exchanges that I use to trade with, but I must say, guys, my favorite exchange at the moment is Bluffin. Okay, that's where I have my largest portfolio in at the moment. Yeah, right. What scenario fits best in with low being formed on the 3rd of March? Oh, now you're bringing time into the equation. Time into the equation. It could still be this flat. It could still be the flat. Because you could form a 4, you should not tap the top of the channel. It needs to create. So maybe it comes down, creates a 4, it comes down 4. Yeah, and I mean, that's very overextended. Okay, it's very overextended. Okay, it's difficult to put time into it. I'm just looking at the levels. So I don't care what time these levels gets hit, as long as they get hit, and I will observe the price action. The reason I'm also favoring an A and a B, okay, a B for this is because of how long it is in time. That is where I look at time. Okay, so if I clean up the chart, let's clean up the chart over here, and I take a time fib, and I say, okay, well, how long did it take to form A? That's how long it took to form A. And compared to A, how long is it now taking to form B? But you can see B is already here at the 5 extension. So I know that some people are looking at this as, what if this is a wave 1? We form a wave 2 and we go up in a wave 3, 4. We build an impulse. We go to $85,000, $90,000 from here. It's just it's rare. It's not an invalidation. But for a wave 1 to be so short and for a wave 2 to be this long is not common. But for a wave A to be this short and for a wave B to be this long is more common. So usually when you have an impulse and you have something that's stretching out in time for so long, I start looking at WXYs, a X or a B. Because B and X's like to be long in time. Okay, obviously this is the 1 hour time frame, so these things do take a lot of time to play out. But you know, when you're trading the 1 minute, 5 minute, 15 minute time frames, okay, it's a little bit faster. But when I see these structures on the smaller time frames, I also know, okay, probabilities now shifts to rather corrective structure instead of an impulsive structure. Right. Now, I just want to see if I've covered all the scenarios over here. In a nutshell, this is basically what I wanted to talk about, guys. This is both of these scenarios that I've shared over here is basically price, okay? First scenario is it forms the low without taking out this low. You could still form ABC and a Y wave and fall down. You could form a triangle. We need more time for this one, you know, before we can give it the highest probability. In a ABC, okay, price can still move up aggressively, then reject. That's what I'm saying. Very interesting shorting opportunity. Now we need to talk about the bearish case scenario, because you might be thinking to yourself, okay, Dewald, well, what if price just falls? Okay, the most bearish case scenario is, just looking at the structure, what I can see over here is that you formed your W, your X, and your Y. There. Okay. It's done. The correction's done. And whatever is now happening from this pivot is going to continue to the downside. Okay? So basically in the structure, you want to form your 1, your 2, your 3, your 4, and your 5. Okay, and this 3 can get really punchy. We don't know how low it's going to go, but you want this 3 to claim the lows. Okay, you want this 3 to claim the low over here. Okay, and then you form your 4 and your 5. So this is the most bearish case scenario that I see here at the moment. There's still a lot that can happen. Price can go back up and then fall. And then 3 moves, 4 moves, 5 moves, and then you have a triple 1, 2. You have a whoops, come on, click, click, click. You have a 1, 2, 1, 2. Now you have a double 1, 2. So the only difference is if this had to happen, okay, it will change the structure slightly to the downside, where you have a 4, 5, okay, and another 4, 5. So if this had to happen, it creates that. If price continues to fall here to the downside, well, you know, then it's maybe just your 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But what is interesting, I'm still looking for a long down here. So guys, you know, whether it's an ABC or whether price falls down here in a 3, 4, 5, it's an interesting area for me to look for longs. And I have my levels marked out. I've shown you that weekly level. We also have those monthly levels. Okay, the weekly levels. That weekly level does look very juicy. But then we also have that 1.618, because I know that for most that's going to invalidate the flat, but it is a 5th wave target. Okay, and I'll explain now why this is a 5th wave target. So let's take this out the way. Let's clean up the levels. And I just want to put that 1 FIP in here. Let's just put this 1 FIP in here. This one. In a ABC flat. So if this is a A, this is a B, and then you go up for a C, your 1.618 is an invalidation for an ABC flat, but it is a fifth wave target. So in your most bearish case scenario, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, it can still bounce there. But then that will give me a clue that it's the end of the fifth wave, the bigger macro fifth wave. So if I go here onto the 4-hour time frame and I look at this structure, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that's what I mean, guys. It is a target for a bigger fifth wave of this structure. So I will still be treating that level as a swing failure line. Okay, just depends what happens to the downside, where it reacts. But I'm also aware that this could form an A, a B, and a C. Okay, maybe not that high, guys. I need to slow down my mouse here. A, B, C, and then it falls down, and then you have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You guys see the difference? Okay, but still, it doesn't matter how you count the structure. A, B, C, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3. Okay, maybe we move up and we do that. 4, 5. It's a very interesting longing zone. It doesn't matter how I count the structure. It's a very interesting longing zone. If you want to be sniper, you're going to have to keep an eye on the levels. Okay. But I don't really expect a capitulation to the downside, because you've already had the biggest move, the most amount of volume that did a lot of damage. Okay. We also have to talk about the most, okay, this is the most bearish case scenario that I see at the moment, given the price action today. Okay, $52,000, I would say is a pretty low level. Okay, if I go here onto the 12-hour time frame, I just want to see where that takes us. $52,000. It's basically an SFP from that pivot. Okay, I spoke about that level during one of my previous live streams. I will definitely be keeping an eye on that pivot, a swing failure. So basically, just to keep it simple, guys, and this is just how I like to trade. Okay, if price comes down, gets acceptance back above, I see a sign of strength, I know where to put my stop loss. That's how I trade it. Okay. Right, let's go back here onto the 1-hour time frame. Most bullish case scenario. We've now spoken about the bearish case scenario, a scenario that basically just goes sideways. We've spoken about, and remember, guys, my scenarios is based on what I see today. Okay, I also posted a message yesterday inside of the community just to say, guys, after my live stream yesterday, I got a lot of messages from people saying, so Devil, you only see downside. I said, it's not that I only see downside, it's that price action is showing me that there's a higher probability that it wants to move down. Okay, do you guys remember yesterday during the live stream, price was here? Okay, and I said, technically it just looks better that price still continues to the downside, which it did now. But if new price action, okay, that forms tomorrow or the day after or next week, I can very quickly change my tune. Because if, for example, okay, price starts slowing down and it does this, I will turn bullish, because once you have a 5-wave structure up, correction, continuation to go and form that C wave. So I can still join this move to complete the C wave after I see that. So if this price action had to play out, and I do a live stream over here, for example, I will say, guys, the probabilities now looks like we could form a corrective structure, a higher low, and continue to take out the highs. So I can only give you probabilities based on what I see today. This is not today, okay? Price still needs to develop for me to change probabilities. Let me go through some comments. Okay, well, sorry guys, first let's talk about the most bullish case scenario. Okay, let's clean up the chart. Like I said, guys, it doesn't look good for the bulls, but the most bullish case scenarios, the most bullish case scenario is that this is a wave 1. A long correction in wave 2, and you want to go up for a 3, 4, and 5. Okay, and we can work out some targets, some estimated targets. The 1.618 is usually a good target for a wave 3. There you go. $82,000. You form a wave 4 and you go up. Usually your 2 extension, good target for wave 5. It's $87,000. Okay, this is the most bullish case scenario. Unfortunately, it does not carry the highest probability because of how long wave 2 is compared to your impulse. And can you guys see how I use technical analysis to determine probabilities? Okay. But it can play out. It's not to say that wave 2 is so long that it invalidates the scenario. It impacts probabilities, and I'm a probability trader, which basically means that I would rather take a trade that has 75% probability than trying to play a trade that has 25% probability. And that's what keeps me profitable as a trader, because I only take high probability trades, okay, especially on large moves like this. Okay, but there you go. There's your most bullish case scenario. Right. Mr. Super Chat. Do you have weekly, monthly time frame Elliott Wave count on gold? No, I don't. I need to go and do that, and it's going to take some work for me to put that together. Also, how long do we have to correct, assuming the bear market for gold has started? So thank you so much for the super chat. I do appreciate it, but unfortunately I don't have anything prepared for gold. So I can go into gold now and do some fresh technical analysis, but it's going to take a while. And I like to, you know, like a little slow cooker, I like to look at the scenarios, look at the invalid. It takes a long time for me to prepare scenarios, specifically if I've never looked at that or if I've never analyzed that commodity before. Okay, so if you want proper technical analysis, I'm going to have to spend some time to do that. And what I'll do is, I'm not sure if you are inside of the community, what I'll do is I will share those scenarios inside of the community. We do have a section for other markets there, so I'll share the gold if you want silver. Okay, right, so there you go, most bullish case scenario. Okay, another way, by the way, guys, there's another way to work out a fifth wave target. Okay, just out of curiosity, if you wanted to know, if price falls to the downside, if price says, okay, it's going to fall here to the downside, you can, there's fifth wave targets from an Elliott Wave perspective. Okay, I think it's from, I haven't actually done this in a while, it's from 1 to 3 to 4. Okay, that's one way to work out a fifth wave target, the 0.618. This is if it gets nasty. I call this the nasty target because this is usually a nasty fifth wave where you have your 1, 2, 3, 4, okay, or 4, okay, but then you have $48,000. A more conservative way to work out a flat or a fifth wave target is basically the fib that I've shown you for the flat. So I take this out the way and I show you this one. Nope. This one. There you go. From the bottom to the top, and you reverse it. And most commonly, fifth wave ends over there. Most commonly. But it can extend to the 1.618. That's just a tip, okay? If you guys want to know how do you calculate fifth wave targets, if this is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, well, there's your fifth wave targets. The nasty one is a little bit downstairs. The nasty one is over here, the 0.618, okay? When you take your fib from the high to the low to the high. Okay. Jeroen, such a nice, honest guy. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Remember, guys, if you want to be part of the community, DM me the word access. Link down in the description. Instructions on how to join our community. I wanted to share something simple as well. Okay. Let's go back here onto the 15-minute time frame. from a simplicity perspective, you want to see some signs of strength. Okay, you need momentum to start shifting, guys. So let's park Elliott Wave theory for a moment, because these are things that I look for as well. I need momentum to start shifting. Okay, so if you don't know what to do here, and guys, this has saved me so many times where I will tell people, and the community members know this by now, wait for the trend to break. You don't have to trade it, but it shows you that momentum is starting to shift. Because often when I share this inside of the community, I say, guys, wait for momentum to shift. And I will show you an example of where this happened. Okay. If you're not sure what to do here, you don't know how to play swing failure patterns. Okay. Wait for momentum to shift. Okay, higher high, structural change, momentum is shifting. That's your first clue. Higher high, wait for the higher low. That's your opportunity to join the next move to the upside. Because what happens, okay, and it happened not so long ago, okay, price keeps on doing this, and it keeps on doing this, and it keeps on doing this, and it keeps on doing this, and you just extend your trend in your trend, and you're like, thank goodness I did not attempt anything here, because look at where we are right now. Because you waited for momentum, and momentum never shifted. A perfect example of where this happened, okay, was here. It was here. When we had this big fall, I think I had a trend. Can't remember exactly. Okay, guys, I need to go back to that live stream or into the community. I think I had a trend over here. I can't remember exactly, but I said, guys, wait for momentum to shift. Okay, if you don't know what to do, wait for momentum to shift. Okay, wait for that. It never happened, and price kept on falling to the downside. So that could have saved you if you didn't know what to do here at the bottom. So again, basically same principle. Okay, wait for momentum to start shifting. It's not guaranteed. Obviously, guys, it's not guaranteed that it's going to do this, that it's going to continue. It can fall down again. And then once I see momentum shifting, that's where I get interested. The next thing I want to see is I want local structure to start changing. So that high is your local high, the local high that needs to be broken. So you want price to smash the high, form a higher high. Then now you have momentum is shifting, you have a higher high, and then the retracement becomes interesting for a longing opportunity. Usually the retracement also forms a little trend. You can wait for the breakout. Okay, so there's many ways in which you can trade. You need to find the strategy that fits your style and personality. Okay, let's spend some time and go through more comments. Okay, there we go. Hey Devil, can you do summary from the top of 8 hours or 12 hours? I've already gone through that. BG Man Phone, I've already gone through the 8 hour. Okay, looking at this structure here to the downside. Okay, I'm basically just looking at the structure from this pivot over here. The one that makes the most sense is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 if we do claim the low. This could also form, maybe that was a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and it's done. But then you have to count this structure somehow as a bullish structure. And at the moment now you sit with that issue, you have such a long correction to label this a 1 and this a 2. So the probabilities are not really in the bull's favor at the moment, you know, because once you make a low with such high volume and you want this to be the end of something and the beginning of something new, this is not a great way to start. Okay. Right, we have to go up around 72k, then to 38. Yeah, I mean, it's not that we have to, the market can do whatever it wants, okay? Because I know a lot of people are looking at fractals. Nothing has to play out exactly the same. Sometimes things are a little bit different, okay? Because if everything played out exactly according to fractals, why is there not more people that's billionaires? Because you can just play the fractals. Okay, Yes, but I know, according to the fractals, a lot of people are looking at fractals and saying, what the fractal says we need to do this. Well, you might not get it. Okay, you might not get it. But according to the fractal, yes, I do know that the fractals say you need to claim the high again. And this is why, if it does do that, I will still trade it. I'm still interested in a short in the zone at 72k. Okay, basically a swing failure from the high. Because this can still form an A, B, C and fall down. Okay, but it would be very strange. Guys, I'm not saying it's impossible. It would be very strange for price, okay, even if it does that, to fall that low. It would be very strange. Because based on this structure, okay, I'm looking at the whole structure, you know, is that you had a move and a correction. And then you had a big move with loads of volume. And now you're correcting. And after you have the fifth move to the downside, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, this move usually, mostly, okay, I don't know how else to explain it, does not capitulate. Yes, after this low is in and price does this and it gets here, that is a danger zone. After you see a 5-wave move to the downside and you see a 3-wave corrective structure, now this can capitulate. Okay, it's the same thing. I want to see if we have an example. I think Binance is not the best example over here. Okay, let me go through some more comments. Bybit is longing. Yes, I see. The Bearish CVD is... Oh, am I still in my long? Yeah, I got stopped out. Did I get stopped out? Yes, I got stopped out of my long. Okay, anyways, it doesn't matter, guys. I got stopped out at break even with my long. Okay, I think that little dippy there, that little dippy that we made over here stopped me out of my long. But it doesn't matter because, I mean... based on Bearish CVD, it's just price is screaming to take out this low again. So there's an opportunity for me to get in again with a better entry. Okay, so if we do take that low, the next area that I'm going to pay attention to is the 786. I told everyone. Okay, and if price wants to lose that level, the next level is the 0.88, 0.9, which is flat targets. But the closest level, let me put it, to where price is at the moment, where I will be interested in a long, is, yeah. Okay, and I will share, if I do get into this trade, I will share with the community, okay, what I'm doing, sharing my analysis, how I'm approaching the market, where I'm putting my stop loss, where I'm planning to take profits. So if I am in front of the chart and this doesn't happen while I'm sleeping or gymming or eating or, you know, not in front of the chart, I will take the trading opportunity and share that inside of the community. Okay. Right, guys, thank you so much for joining the live stream. Remember to smash up that like button, and also, guys, after the live stream, you're welcome to leave some comments. If you have any questions inside of the community, let me know. And if you want to be part of the community, remember you can just DM me the word access on Telegram. And then until the next one, cheers for now.